All right. So I wanted to do a reaction video to the movie Platoon. Now, my history with this particular movie is pretty simple. I remember being a young boy, a young lad, if you will. Um, you know, Normal weekend, I guess. Most kids probably be outside when I was watching TV. And it was like 4th of July weekend or Veterans Day weekend, something along those lines, something where the feeling of had to be it was a very patriotic feeling. So they played three movies. One was Apocalypse Now, Platoon, of course, and I think Born on the 4th of July, something like that. But anyway, I remember watching this as a young kid and just being, wow, look at all the, it looks like fireworks, which basically they are fireworks, but they're made to simulate explosions in the final battle scene of this movie. So years pass, right? And then I watch it again and I'm like, whoa, what is this? And then I'm attracted to the movie because of its like rebellious nature, I guess, if that makes any sense, right? Then once some more years pass, and then I wind up owning the movie on DVD, and I watch it over and over again, over and over again, right? And then probably some more years pass, and then it's like I started talking to friends about the movie, and it's like, wait, they have a different interpretation of the movie to me. And then I come back and look at it from another standpoint after I've just happened to gather more information on war in general and especially on that conflict. And I'm like, oh, this is something else altogether. So let me try and give an overview. So it basically follows one character on his one of his tours or his first tour in Vietnam, I feel like. So, and they don't hide anything. I mean, they put it all out there, hang everything out there in the wind. So you've got him getting there, and from the very first moment, you see the guys who have been there for a tour are leaving as he's coming in. You see the difference in between uniforms and where they are emotionally, like that's evident. You see the body bags sending dead troops back. You see that. You see how hard it is for him to what is the word? What is the word he always use? Adapt. I use adapt. That's the word. It's another word they use a lot in the movies, but how hard it is for him to adapt to that climate and the culture. But he soon. It's odd. I think this happens any and everywhere you go. If you work at a grocery store, if you go to a gym, if you do martial arts, if whatever the case is, there's always going to be a clique inside. There's always going to be a clique that you have to attach yourself to. So he gravitates towards the guys who are basically fun havers, use recreational drugs and things of that nature, which is nothing wrong with that. When, you're so close to death, I don't think it's anything wrong with that. But I guess the problem that would come, my problem with that would probably be if the drugs are being used while we're in a situation where I have to depend on you and you depend on me. That's the only time I think that drugs become an issue. But hey, if we're off and we're not supposed to be doing anything for a little while, when we're in an area that's known to be relatively safe, then I'm not going to try and control you. It's your life. So he gets in with that crowd, and things get shaken up. I think it's just like, I guess, be considered battle fatigue. Here I am sounding like I'm some military expert. I'm not some military expert. This is just on the outside looking in. These are my opinions of the movie. Things that could be considered battle fatigue, I guess. And they go to a village, and they've been ambushed, and people are dying and tortured and things of that. So they go into this village, of course, and they want answers, and they're not necessarily getting them. So one of the commanding officers murders somebody, and then the other commander comes up. What are you doing? They get into a fist fight. There's all these rifles around and handguns and knives, and they get to a fist fight, which I'm thinking, okay, well, that is what it is. But that bad blood has been created between them because of that incident, right? Things continue on like nothing. Everybody's pretty much rolling along, but there's a feeling of like, hey, we have to do something about that. I mean, there's one character, I think, well, I think I'm skipping over something. That whole incident, that's going on while a battle fatigue is taking its effect on our main character as well. I mean, he's shooting at a one-legged, one-armed, one-eyed, mentally deficient person. Like I say, I have to attribute it to battle fatigue at least. And another character called Bunny comes into play, uses the butt of his shotgun to but to exterminate that individual that he's shooting at, trying to make dance. It is a bad feeling in your stomach when you see stuff like that. You always wonder, did incidents like that ever happen? Did incidents like the fight between two soldiers happen? Most likely, but for reasons like that, who knows? I wasn't born, I don't know. So things continue. The mood's kind of changed if there was a mood, because I think just before they went out, they painted a pretty jovial picture of at least that group that he was gravitating towards, the main character. And then you continue on and they go back out, and he says the main character is narrating, and he says, I feel like I'm entering, the scene of a crime or something like that. I mean, basically he was. They get there, they do their thing, but one of the sergeants that were involved in the altercation, he has not forgotten that. So they get into a firefight, and the other sergeant that's involved in that firefight, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if their characters were sergeants or not, he runs around by himself in a flanking move to try and stop these other soldiers, the enemy soldiers, from cutting them off. He's successful, but he's out there by himself. Now, the sergeant that he's gotten into the altercation with takes it upon himself to go and help him back. He finds him and then fires on him. Probably 6 or 7 rounds enter this guy's chest. He's done for. At least that's what it looks like. He gets back, oh, he's dead. I found him back there. Like, what do you mean? The main character is questioning this sergeant. He's like, I told you, it's over with. So they hop on the helicopter and they fly off. As you look down, you see this other sergeant running for his life, trying to catch that chopper. He doesn't make it. It's a real cinematic event. See him get shot multiple times in the back by the enemy, and now this is the part where I guess it's called a hooch. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe I don't know what it's called. But the area that they congregate in, the main character and his fellow and his friends, the clique that he's gravitated towards, they're in there stewing about it. And this other sergeant comes in there drunk, and he's like, I hear you talking about me. If you're going to do something, do it right now. They don't have any weapons. There's a push knife, which I really need to get me one of those push knives. Not because of that character, but because it's a pretty useful weapon as far as self-defense is concerned. But anyway, they get into a tussle. He pulls that push knife out, and he cuts his cheek just a little bit. Just a little bit. So now it's pretty much set in sand. They don't like each other, and they want to do something about it, but there's really nothing they can do about it, because if you outright just kill somebody, then it's like it's all this stuff. But that sergeant has pretty much gotten away with murdering that other sergeant, and there's no proof, so it's only hearsay. So But I have to mention something before I forget. One of the guys that were kind of like on the coattail of this sergeant who's at this point successfully got away with murder. He's it's not hard to explain what his character is, but he pretty much is shirking responsibility and trying his best to get away from anything where he's going to put himself in danger, but he still does his job, if that makes sense. So he's adequate, but he's not going above and beyond anything extra. Now, he'll come into play later on in the movie. At least something funny will happen to him later in the movie. So I guess if I skip something, kind of sorry, but I don't think I did. They get to the last battle. Now, everybody, this is a big one. So everybody's dug in. Everybody's watching his positions on this area that they're securing. So the enemy comes in and it's a drag out, breakdown, hellacious battle. They're in the line, they're in the wire. They wind up calling in artillery and air support to drop on their position. There's so many enemy soldiers around. In all this midst of the battle, I think only a few guys wind up surviving. I think like the main character and probably like two other guys, and one other guy winds up like stabbing himself so he can get out of there because it was, he's done with his Vietnam vacation or his stay there, whatever you want to call it. But there's a scene comes up. So the main character survived pretty much. I mean, he's covered in like dry blood, and he picks up an enemy rifle. He pulls back a charging handle to see if there's any rounds in there. There is. It's loaded. He walks around just to keep himself comfortable because he doesn't know where his rifle's at. I mean, they resorted to hand-to-hand combat in this battle. I mean, if you're not ammunition and you're being overrun by so many enemies, you don't have time to reload your rifle. I know it doesn't sound like it. I know it doesn't sound like realistic. Oh, you're always gonna have time. No, I mean, somebody right on top of you can't really. A rifle's a long weapon. You can't really get it up to get that magazine out and in. So you got to throw this guy off. You pick up a shovel. You pick up a rock. Anything you can to eliminate. So after all that, he's walking around with this enemy rifle, and he runs into this sergeant that he's had this problem with, or that he knows but doesn't have any proof that has killed his favorite sergeant. So, they sit there, he's like, go ahead, go get me a medic. And he's like, he's just standing there, he's like, just silence, and okay, do it. Sprays him. That's that. So some people come in from their job is different. His is most likely just infantry, and some people come in who are definitely to clean up the area after combat. And he said, "Man, it must have been a hell of a battle out here, man." He's like, "Yeah, it's this and that." That's the end of the movie, The other person that survives is the sergeant that I mentioned earlier that was shirking responsibility. He hit underneath a dead soldier. Okay. And the commanding officer comes and he says, "Hey, you're still alive." I say, "Yeah." It's like, "Good, because you got this platoon now." And he's smiling, thinking he's going to get out of there. But, he has a different, what's the word? He has a different commitment than like a regular soldier would have. I mean, he has to stay in there. There's no going home for him. He has to stay there. And he's like, you just see a life drain out of him when he gets that news. Overall, it's a great movie. I mean, I've watched it so many times. I can't speak badly about this movie. But it's watching interviews of the director, Oliver Stone. This is his story, but a combination of experiences from the tours that he's done in Vietnam, and I can't find any fault with this movie. One, because I've never been in the military. Two, because I wasn't alive during that time. It's it's for me, it's purely entertainment. It may take other individuals to a dark place or a happy place or something like that. But for me, I've grown up watching this movie and purely enjoy it for those reasons. So if you like this video, I'm going to be doing another movie here pretty soon. Also, I've got The Wire. I've got I'm suffering through The Mandalorian, and I've got Futurama I'm bringing back as well. So check those videos out as well. And don't forget to subscribe. Did that sound corny? It probably did.